Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing. Where do you come from? Where are you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where are you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing.
Distract the
We're
boys.
live
Ray,
now.
what's your mum do? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. So that was live. Welcome to the download. We're coming at you live every single week, giving you everything gaming and tech that's been going on this week. And this week we got some big announcements and a brand new chat application. That right. Your chat show up right on screen and you got your nice logo and everything. But we are about to talk about the Nintendo Switch. Because I can't get the people backstage to stop talking about it. And it has released an announcement to be talked about. What is it? This is an announcement that there's going to be a direct that is going to give more information. So they finally said something about it. It has broken the silence. We've gotten a bigger Switch, essentially. Switch 2, or I like to call it Switch Pro, has now been released, or about to be released on in this year. So let's talk about it. All the leaks, everything that's going on. Who's pre-ordering this bad boy? What the hell is Nvidia doing inside this thing? Let's get into all the good stuff. So one. Do you think my Pro controller will they make a brand new Pro controller? That's my one concern. I hope that this one has back paddles or, you know, some sort of new design because I didn't see it here.
Well, I was asking earlier because I'd never had the Switch, but that the attachment that you see them take the Joy-Cons off of, is that new to this Switch? Because I don't remember seeing that on the old one, or is that something that they're just doing a new version
Yeah, it's
of?
a snap-on now.
Do you think it will be a new version, or it's going to be the exact same one that fits both?
It's gonna have to be different with the way they changed the controllers up.
Okay.
Yeah.
It already
Yeah,
the other one slides on. And
Yeah, the one's a slide.
Mechanism or something.
This is magnet. It snaps in.
Magnet. Oh.
Yes, because these are all magnetic, right? Yeah.
But my whole issue with that is there's one flaw that I could see happening, and if you notice if you can pause the video at the right time where it shows that little connection when the control when it shows the side view of the controller, how firm or sturdy is that thing? Because we all know how kids are, and
they're gonna snap it. They're gonna snap that shit right in half.
It's
that's gonna be the first thing that breaks.
But that's on purpose, right? I mean, you can just
we
buy
honestly
another for your
can't even
kids,
say
right? That's
kids
what you
though,
want.
because we get frustrated with stuff too and throw controllers, slam them down,
Never done that.
put
Never done that
excessive
before.
force on them. So
Well, it used to be.
can't just be kids on that one. But how durable is it is a solid question.
Well, yeah,
Well-
that is my thing is the durability of it. Like I'm not willing. And the other thing you have to factor is those little Joy-Cons or the new Joy-Cons. How expensive are they going to be to replace?
And did they did they fix the issue where they constantly want to end up getting stick drift real easy?
Yeah.
Oh, that was all fake news. That never happened.
The biggest question on my mind is, what does the Switch 2 cartridges taste like?
Yeah, that's absolutely
I'm
what we
guessing-
need to be knowing.
I'm
guessing
snozberries.
No,
I like the
Tastes like normal paste.
I like the big long black
I'm
kickstand that you
joking.
put in
I'm
the back,
joking,
and
okay?
you can bend it all the way back.
Okay,
I'm
right,
pretty
but for
sure
those of you
that's
who've actually
easily
looked
to
at
be
it,
snapped.
we've
Yeah,
asked a
let's
bunch
talk
of
about it.
questions here that aren't. Yeah, we've asked a bunch of questions that aren't actually answerable, just things that we're intrigued by. But what do we actually know about it from what they've showed us and what they've told us about it? What do we know about it? It's magnetic. That's the new factor.
Yeah, it is magnetic.
There is a new Mario Kart game coming out. Mario Kart 9 is
That-
going to be
yeah.
exclusive.
That's gonna be
Well, we know larger
Yes,
screen. It's got
larger
two
screen.
USB-C ports, one on the top and one on the bottom.
Well,
What are all the
Yeah,
ports
let's
for?
hope
Why
that-
does it have all the new ports? I don't get that.
Also, the triggers. When you take out the Joy-Cons and you make it 2 players per Joy-Con, they made the triggers larger on the side, and they've actually for a few months now there's been data mining in the original Steam OS Switch OS where there's something called the mouse mode. I shrugged it off a long time ago because it's like, well, what does a mouse have to do with consoles and especially the Switch? But when you watch this trailer, they actually have a laser sensor on both the Joy-Cons, and when they're sliding down the table, it's literally in the shape of a mouse and tail. So mouse
Yeah, I
mode is
see that.
definitely gonna be part of Switch 2. Maybe when you're playing when you're playing
That's
like a
clever.
I don't know, if you're playing like Baldur's Gate or real-time strategy game, you got a mouse now.
Or like
just
the
Okay,
new
yeah.
Inzoi game.
Yeah,
With
Enjoy.
Nvidia.
That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
if you
interesting.
actually
Or
pay
like city
attention-
builders,
Yeah.
things like that can easily be
I'm
optimized.
wondering
Or
I'm wondering if
Mario
they got
Paint's
this, like,
coming back.
I'm wondering if they got this idea from the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck's got that
Well-
mouse precision trackpad, and this is like the next step, because I would rather prefer holding it like a mouse than using a trackpad.
I didn't even realize in the trailer that that's what they were showcasing. Was it being like 2 different mouses? So well, there's an answer for why they have so many ports, is connecting it as a
beyond-
mouse.
Did you all
Right.
notice in the trailer that what they just showed with the Mario Kart? So Mario Kart 8 and anything prior to that has always been what, like 12? They doubled it. There's 24 racers. They're gonna have a 24-person race mode in this, exclusively on this version.
That's cool, but do any of us play Mario Kart? Do any of
I
us?
heard
Would
that.
any of us
I-
play a
I-
new Mario
I
Kart?
I
No.
thought you did, Wilson. That's what I was always told. You love that.
You're
game,
about to
so
start a fight.
I know
But
it's
hey,
the
you know,
superior
Crash Team
kart racer, but
It's
I've not
was-
gotten too much
was-
into it.
I
Maybe
wouldn't
the
ask
new one.
Bjorn that same question.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think if you don't like Mario Kart, it's probably just a skill issue, and you're not really that good. I mean, I'm pretty good at it. So
Well, we
if you're
also
just-
see now that it is backwards compatible. So Nintendo Switch
Select
2
zero.
plays both physical and digital Nintendo Switch games.
Right.
So that's good to know
Oh.
too. Your digital library will also be backwards compatible.
I-
But
Awesome.
certain Nintendo Switch
Turn
games
over.
may not be supported on or fully compatible with Nintendo Switch 2. So
Ooh.
those
Does that
details
mean-
will be shared later on. Maker was bringing up something that makes a lot of sense. Something like the Labo That would be one that
Yeah, well,
that would make sense
Yeah.
not to work on Switch 2, and
into the lava.
I guess some other games that may be fully capable, like take advantage of the Switch. I can't think of it now,
Like
but
the Ring Fit. The Ring Fit.
the Ring
really
Fit
easy
is a
to
good
fit your
shout.
Joy-Con, Yeah.
Dude, I
Maybe
wonder, can I use my old Nintendo Pro controller with with this one? That would be cool.
yeah,
If I could use my Pro
that's
controller.
what.
So the operating system is the same as the original Switch. So technically, you should be able to. If you can't, then Nintendo's just purposely blocking that.
So good, man.
This isn't Nintendo's official, but this is what Game Radar have theorized about them. What they're saying about limited backwards capability. They're saying exactly what you're saying about the Nintendo Labo situation or Labo. There could be a gyro or an IR sensor difference in the new device that it just won't be able to do some fringe things on the new version the same as it did on the old one.
Yeah. Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. So the announcement for more details will be coming on a Nintendo Direct and this date confuses me because I've seen it two different ways. March 2nd. April 2nd. April 2nd. God damn this date. And that's cool. So I think it's fun that they've literally made an announcement to make an announcement. So that's how big Switch is today.
Well, that's the clever way to do it, isn't it? Tease the teaser.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna.
Especially when everyone leaked it.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
did we
feel
have
like
much
this
choice?
may have been a forced hand situation. I don't know. But there you
I'd say
have
so.
it.
probably-
There's the
I'm gonna-
Switch. It's been
gonna
released,
get it
but do you
for
want
my
to talk
son.
about the oh, you're gonna get it?
I'm gonna get it for my son. Yeah, for his birthday.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that's the excuse. Yeah. I'm gonna get it for my son. Yeah.
You can play
There you
Fortnite.
go.
right?
Dude, I
Who
need to
else
play with my
is day
my
one?
Switch.
Maker's probably a day one on it. I'll give him
Yeah,
that.
okay.
Probably.
Well, if I want to play a Mario game in the next decade, I'll probably have to buy one.
Yep.
Well,
Oh,
the
yeah,
You got
interesting
a library of Mario games to go back on.
listen, the interesting thing to me with all this is that the PS4. Now, I know this is just numbers, and terafloppies don't mean everything, but the PS4 had 1.8 teraflops, and this is supposed to have, with the T239 Ampere is supposed to have 1.72 teraflops. So Nintendo, that's always innovating and doing much with nothing, is going to now have almost the power of a PS4. That's
But
super
you know what?
interesting to me.
But you know what though? Guess what? They're gonna sell more than any other console. Believe
I
that?
don't doubt that, but my point is that they innovate. They do a whole lot with nothing. And I think that they're gonna have a whole bunch of super interesting games come out.
Another way of looking at this is a Steam Deck has about 1.6 teraflops. So this is going to be slightly more powerful than a Steam Deck.
Let me tell you something. All they got to do is come out with Animal Crossing 2. It's a fucking wrap. There you go.
In terms of first party games,
There you go.
like they're gonna nail it. There's no issue. Like this is just gonna sell.
The thing that you got to remember is real simple though. This isn't just a console, it's also a handheld. So it kind of takes on the point of two different markets. More of the handheld, but at the fact you can connect it to your TV.
Well,
That's one of the reasons it sells so well.
Rudig's mentioned all the old stuff you'll be able to play. Well, the Switch didn't have DLSS. This probably will. So, like DLSS mixed with all that stuff that Nintendo's good at innovation and stuff, this could be really, really cool. I'll be watching it for sure.
It's one of the reasons why I see that Sony and Microsoft really don't want to dip hard back into the handheld. You got all the Steam Decks and all those out there, and then you have Nintendo basically cornering the market on it. That's why I see them not wanting to go into it. They just kind of more or less see it as a waste of money. They don't mind dipping their toes, but to dive off into it, I bet you they see it as a loss, a waste of money and a loss.
See, here's
last
the
week
question.
last week I saw a kid in a baby stroller playing the Nintendo Switch. I'm just like, wow. So, you know.
Okay, but Nintendo Switch, oh wait, what was I gonna say about it? Right,
don't
so
know.
Nintendo, mind blank there. Nintendo has always been known as like to do its own thing, right? So it's not really ever been in the battle as much, or like the console war of Xbox versus PS versus PC. It's always kind of stood on the side and just did its own thing and filled a niche,
Yes.
right, and done that successfully. Do you
Yeah,
think it's
because
going
it
to
hasn't had
continue
to fight
to?
against Sega. That
Hey.
was its thing, was Nintendo and
Okay,
Sega back
guys.
in the day.
But,
Yes. Oh, yep,
but for
there
the
it is.
past
Yep.
decade or so, they've
Yeah.
always kind of had their own niche. Now there's other gaming handhelds. Do you think they're going to be combating the market of those other
Good
handhelds,
point.
or do you think Nintendo still holds its own niche in the market, being Nintendo?
It holds its own.
It holds its own because of its
It
IPs.
holds its own. It holds
The
its
only
own.
way to
Because of
get those IPs.
exclusives.
Yes, correct.
Yes,
They're in their own
yes,
territory.
yes, yeah.
Something
They
that
won't be any bigger.
Microsoft has lost.
You
Oh,
can happen to
speaking
play.
of-
Listen, David. You can happen to play other games on a Nintendo system, but you'll never play a Nintendo game on another system.
Yes, I will.
Not unless it's emulated, yeah.
You know, it was the craziest thing. It was the craziest thing. But back,
legitimately, let's put it that way.
Okay,
hold
yeah.
on.
if we're
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
There we go.
That I'll never forget. But back in the office, I had one guy who was an Xbox, one guy that was a PlayStation guy, and they were both console boards and stuff. But the one thing that they had in common, they each had a Nintendo Switch. So it seems like usually if you have the console, you have the Nintendo Switch.
But you don't think this is going to be going up against the likes of Asus ROGs
Nope.
and Steam Deck?
Nope.
You still think
No.
Switch,
No.
Switch
No.
and
No,
Nintendo
no, no, no.
It
Not
ain't
even-
even
not
gonna
even-
make
nope.
it 10.
Yeah, I
I-
don't disagree with you. So I just thought I'd ask the panel, but yeah, no, I honestly, frankly, yeah, I think Nintendo holds its
Yeah,
own
if you
as
want-
Nintendo, and it
if
has
you-
Nintendo's place in the market.
If you want Zelda and you want Mario, there's only one place to go for that. One.
Yep, that's Nintendo.
Yeah.
All right. Hello,
If
Cowboy.
you want to play the Metroid
Okay,
game,
Cowboy.
and they cemented
Oh,
the
man.
nostalgia. They were there
Remember-
first. They were on the minds of gamers back in the early 90s. And that's what people go to. That's what's familiar to them. That's what's safe for them. So it's also something like my buddy has kids. He can get the Switch and be like, oh, this is a kid's toy. But it's incognito his toy as well. And I think a lot of people play that game. What's going on, Anthony? Thanks for joining.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You guys talking about the Switch too, I hear.
Of course.
Switch 2.
Yeah.
Cool. Big news. Definitely big news. It was good to see Nintendo making something public because I'm kind of one of the people where until it's officially announced, is it real? I mean, you figure it is real, but you know, now it looks a lot bigger. Do you guys know the size comparison?
How do you
No,
say
what is the
it's-
size
Hold
comparison?
on. I got a question for Anthony. How are you going to sit there and say, is it real until we have an official? Are you saying that when Nintendo releases a video footage of it on their official channels, it's not real?
No, what I'm saying is when Nintendo does that, then it's real. But before today, did you see a official video?
Gotcha. No, I got you now. I misunderstood that part. I didn't hear the initial part. That's
But there have been recent leaks that were all on the money, surprisingly. It is
that
a
is true.
surprise on how much they were all accurate.
Yeah.
Or so many were.
Oh, that's because
Here's a bigger question. Who thinks they're going to have an actual large lineup with big titles to drop or announce with it?
they won't.
I
Well, they'll
think they will.
definitely have a new Mario Kart.
Yeah, they're gonna have a
And
new
I think-
Mario, a new Mario Kart. Yeah, they'll have all that.
Metroid
I can see them
I
doing-
think it's going to be about the same as the PS5
Hold on.
in that way. It'll be a handful of games, and you just got to wait a year or two, and then more and more games will start pouring out.
Here's not the better question is how much third party support is it gonna have? That's my question.
Are we
Everything.
thinking-
I think more. I think a lot more because of the fact that it's a lot more powerful. So Nintendo holds its own. It doesn't really have to compete with the other handhelds, but it is stepping up its game in terms of power. And I think part of that's due to the fact there's other handhelds on the market. We need to make sure we can somewhat keep up with the third party content.
Okay. So my next question is, has the power been announced. Like there was rumors that it was on par with a regular PlayStation. Then there's rumors that it's going to be on par with a Series S. So do we know?
No, all we got was a picture from Nintendo officially. There's been nothing but leaks in terms of what this
Yeah,
thing is going to
and
be.
so-
I would
they
say
said-
it has to be close, not to the level, but I'd say it would have to be close at least to the 4th gens. You know, it has to be somewhere within 20% of how powerful the 4th gens are.
The
With
the
how
way I
much
see it,
technology's changed.
the way I see it, it's just a slightly more powerful Steam Deck plus DLSS. Like that's already amazing right there.
That wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't
I
be
agree.
bad.
Do we think it's definitely going to get DLSS? Is that something that
Yeah,
we're almost clear about?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
getting an
Like
updated
1000%.
Nvidia GPU. Yeah, it's
Full
going to benefit
backing,
from
the
DLSS.
Oh, it's okay if it's gonna. But do we know it's getting an Nvidia GPU, or again is that leaks
Yeah,
that we're
it's still
going on?
Nvidia. It's still Nvidia.
Okay.
But the question was, do we
It will
know
be-
that, or is it just a leak? That's what the
Uh,
man asked.
I mean,
It
for the
is.
spec,
They're partners
showed-
with Nvidia. It's the
Okay,
same
so
No,
gen.
no,
it's-
but
You
did
can literally play
Nintendo
Switch One games.
or
They're not
Nvidia
gonna.
say that?
They're not gonna switch to AMD and support previous Switch games.
I'm just
Yeah.
curious if that was said, or are we guessing? That's all I want to know.
I'm just
Yeah, well,
using
It's based
my,
on
my
previous
educational
patterns.
background.
Yeah,
So we're good.
based on their background, based on their partnerships, it sounds like they will be using Nvidia. We just don't know exactly how powerful. But people are, the leaks are saying it's going to have CUDA cores, it's going to have DLSS. It's saying it's going to have. What we were saying at the beginning of the show, similar to the PS4's power, is what the leaks are saying. But yeah, that's all leaks. We don't know until April, the 2nd of April.
Now, does that bother anybody? Like, is anybody excited to get a PS4 power? I mean, I guess on a handheld, I don't know.
I'm
right? Is it-
excited for
Well-
a new Mario.
I'm excited to see what Nintendo
Yeah.
does with said power.
Just a few weeks ago, I played Ghost of Tsushima. That was a PS4 game. I loved it. So I wouldn't
Good.
mind that playing on portable.
Frankly,
Yeah, but
Nintendo
then-
do a
but
lot
then-
of stuff
so I
in the
remember-
cloud on the back end.
So,
So even
so
though
here's-
it's not internally that powerful, it's doing a lot of stuff cloud based.
So here's my thing, right? That was a good point, right? He said he played Ghost of Tsushima. I remember playing Ghost of Tsushima on the PS4, and it was cool. And then I remember playing Ghost of Tsushima, the PS5 version. And it's still to this day, I'm like, whoa, like it blows me away. So it's kind of like, well, you can have that, or you can have this. You know what I mean? It's like, I guess the stepping down, but again, it is handheld, right? But I don't know.
But it's two different ecosystems. You're talking Sony ecosystem with, let's say, whether it's PlayStation Remote, PlayStation Portal, handheld, that's
Right.
still PlayStation ecosystem versus Nintendo ecosystem.
Right.
Completely
You
different
have-
ecosystem.
You have to
Completely
remember
different,
one key thing.
people
It's
that they're
Nintendo
going after.
product, so it's 100% optimized for Nintendo. They're not optimizing it for PC, for this console, for that. It's all optimized for Nintendo. That's all they
Not
got to
yet.
worry about doing.
And that's why my question was how much third party support you think it will get. And that's why
A lot
I think
more.
everybody would
Hey,
jump through hoops
I-
to get their game on there.
I'm
everybody
gonna.
didn't jump through hoops for their games to be on the Switch.
Hey, yeah, Apex Legends put their game on the Switch. Mortal Kombat 1 put their game on the
let's
Switch.
not talk about
Hogwarts
Mortal
Legacy.
Kombat 1 on the
Mortal
Switch,
Kombat
bro. Let's
Mortal
not
Kombat
bring that
1 is
game
on
up
the Switch. But
Because if
the
we're gonna
fact is,
if we're
Now
gonna
they
bring
can
up
do it without sacrifices, possibly.
if we're going to bring up Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch, we have to have a photo of what it looked like on the Switch present on the screen because it wasn't
it's
good.
bad.
It was a
It
terrible
wasn't.
port.
No, it wasn't good. But the fact is that the developers or the publishers, they decided that they were going to force that game on the Switch, and in the original Switch is way less powerful than this new one will be.
Does it really matter though? Look,
Yeah. It's
Pro-
basically
Pro-
the Nvidia Shield, man. That's basically what the Switch is.
Here's the
It's way
thing.
behind what this is.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. it
Nintendo
doesn't
is a
matter.
household name in entertainment and gaming, and it has solidified itself from the 90s. And I feel that it does have that market power. And when a new one does release, it's the perfect Christmas gift for such and such to get for their kids. It's going to be definitely there on front of people's minds.
Crow said it perfectly in the
Yes,
chat.
he did.
it doesn't matter what the specs are. People are going to buy it because it's Nintendo. And that's
Yeah.
100% true.
Well,
I
Speaking
agree.
of
No.
speaking of third-party support, you guys are forgetting something. Microsoft now they're gonna be in the Switch too. Like they're gonna bring their
Call of
titles.
Duty.
Yeah,
I-
Call of
well-
Duty and all the other stuff as well. Whatever.
What
I
are
don't
you
know, Sea of
referencing
Thieves,
there,
maybe.
Jem? Just to be more
Whatever's
specific,
already
what are you referencing?
yeah, whatever's already on PlayStation will likely come Switch 2 and then plus more, whatever.
Yeah. Oh well,
Yeah.
I wanted to also point out that are we leaving out the big like elephant in the room? Mario Kart got announced for Switch 2, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Talk about
it's not Crash Team Racing, so no one cares.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
We're not
sorry, it's
leaving
more
it out.
popular.
It's not
Unfortunately,
counting.
Crash Team Racing didn't make the podium.
Crash Team Racing didn't get 50
I mean-
million in sales.
I'm actually interested. Vet said more racers, so I'm interested in it.
No, he said there's more racists.
Slight difference.
Yeah,
No, that's in the
correct.
state. That's in the state.
I
That's in the
think, I
state
think,
radio.
I think the thing is though, I think nowadays the Switch 2 is going to be scrutinized more than ever, right? Because gamers now are considered the smart gamers. We got more podcasts, we got more of this. So like, I think the Switch 2 is going to do great, obviously. But I think for like a lot of gamers like us, there's going to be so many like you know how some people say, "Oh, Nintendo get a pass."
I agree.
I don't think Nintendo's going to get that pass anymore. I think people are going to be like ripping it apart and left and right, being negative about it. Whereas before, you're kind of like,
Nah, I
think they get a pass.
I
Yeah, they're gonna get a
remember,
pass.
I remember the Switch 1 launch, and people were like, "What? This doesn't even have the power of a PS3. This thing is dead." And then 1 month went by. And everyone was like, "Wow, Breath of the Wild is bloody amazing, and it's in the palm of my hands."
Yeah.
And everyone
And
forgot about PS2 power on the
Animal
Switch.
Crossing came out and somehow
Animal
brought in,
Crossing
like, a whole,
also.
like 20% of new gamers that never gamed before just to
yeah,
play
Yeah, it
Animal
was the
Crossing.
pandemic.
Yeah, I
They
know
were playing
people who
during the
bought it just for
pandemic.
Animal Crossing. Yeah, it's hilarious.
The thing is, Anthony, that while we may think it's overrated or any of that, the average consumer is going to buy this up, and they're not going to care about things like what's underneath it. What is it?
I
What's the
agree.
power of this? They're only going to care about a new Mario, because you know they already showed that. They're more than likely going to have a new Zelda, and probably, I'm guessing, a new.
I wouldn't
Animal
say a
Crossing
new
would be-
Zelda. I wouldn't
They'll
get
have some-
hold my breath for that one.
No, we got a ways. We got a
Yeah.
ways
When
for that
did-
one.
did
But
they
a
already
new
release
Mario
the
for
new
sure.
Zelda
coming
where
up
you're
soon.
playing it as Zelda? Did they already
Either-
release that?
Either way,
Yes,
they're going to
yeah,
have
they
some
did.
new games.
And
Oh.
so
with
that's the
new-
Zelda 2D team, and they release games every 3 years. And then there's a Zelda 3D team, and they release
Okay.
games typically every 5 years. So we got
Well-
Tears of the Kingdom like 2 years ago.
Regardless, they will still have new games that are first party. As for
Yeah.
third party, my guess is it will hinge on just initial sales, because if they follow the trend that the Wii, remember the Wii had everything on it. The Wii U fell apart. That's why it took so long for the success of the Switch. They didn't get a lot of these third party games until a while afterwards. I think they'll get everybody hopping on board because they saw how well, or they'll hold off just a little bit to make sure that this isn't like a repeat of the Wii U. 'Cause the
Well, I-
Nintendo
well,
Wii had
I don't-
every possible game you could think of was probably on it when it came
Well,
to third parties.
I think the problem was like the Wii U. People didn't even know that. I feel like the Wii U existed. Like I know I didn't really get it until
Well, you weren't
like,
a gamer, it's okay.
end of its life cycle, and the Switch basically just came
he
out.
was like 14 years old then. Like you probably didn't have a job.
What?
I bought-
What are you talking about?
I bought the Wii U for.
I bought it in
Evan.
2016. I was past
Me and
graduated.
Me and Evan played on the Wii U a lot. We used to love that
I was in
zombie
college.
game. But yeah, it did die. It did kind of, phase
And
out.
that's-
But we
that's
got to.
why I said that the Switch. It took. If we remember when the Switch launched, how many third-party games were on there? There weren't a whole lot on there. It took a while for them to be willing to put them on there, like a full year.
Yeah, but
before you
but
saw
my-
things like NBA and
Yeah, my thing is
soccer
this
and all
though.
that.
When you think of third party games, right? It's like, and when you or as you look as a gamer, you're like, okay, what games was a big impact in the year for third party, right? When you think of the Switch, just think of Game of the Year and stuff like that. Like barely any of them games are on the Switch. Just think
My
about it.
my
Like,
Game
my
of the
like
thing
it's
is,
Year,
what's the
no
price?
console,
What's the
no.
price? What's the price going to be on these games? Because I remember
Anthony,
Nintendo
Sony
hardly
had
ever
Game of the
discounted.
Hey, but Sony was the only one that had Game of the Year on it.
no,
They
I'm
don't
talking about
discount
the even yeah, I'm talking
their
about Game of the
games.
Year, and I'm talking about the nominees and everything. When you
Oh,
think of that, like there's barely any
true.
games that from the
This
Switch.
Switch will be able to host the sports games. I feel like for this Switch 2 to make a difference, hopefully it's on the online section. There'll be greater ease of party chat instead of going through your phone. These are just some of the things I hope they increase, because to
These
me,
are
this
learning
honestly
curves
looks
that
like a Switch Pro. It doesn't even look like a brand new console. Like, I'm surprised that they're passing this off as a new console,
okay,
to be
but the
honest,
thing is,
because each
I
console
agree,
generation that
Chris.
switched
I agree.
was a major transformation. NES to Super NES, Wii to Wii U. Like, these were big transformations. So this to me just looks like a very small, tiny transformation, almost like a Pro.
Chris
Why,
got it
why,
right there as well.
while I agree with that, but this is like what literally everyone's been asking for. Like people were worried that Nintendo is going to with a new technology again and completely screw up. People just wanted a powerful Switch again, like a Switch 2, just make the same thing but more powerful. And this
Oh,
is what
play more
they're,
games.
yeah.
Okay, and elephant in the room, they messed up on the name. Call it the goddamn Super Switch.
No,
I do
no,
think, but
no. I like
I think they're going to
Switch.
stop
Hey,
after.
I
Hey,
like
this
Switch.
ain't no Super Game Boy
hey,
2. This ain't the
I'll,
Super Game Boy 2.
I'll tell you why they didn't do that is because they did a little moniker with the Wii U. Like it wasn't Wii 2, right? And I think that it was part of its problem selling. Like what's a Wii U? You know, it's not a
Yeah,
sequel to the
That's an
Wii.
that's
So.
what it was to me. I'm like, why do I want to buy a Wii U? I already have a Wii. What the fuck?
You know what
But it
though?
sounds
Jack?
like
Hey,
across this whole
let me,
panel, as well
you
as in
know,
the chat, there's plenty of people who are going to be buying Switches. I mean, there's plenty of us who
you
won't,
know,
but Nintendo know that. They fill a niche and they fill a niche well. They're not trying to compete against other people. They're not trying to win the entire market. They fill a niche of like 30 or 40% of like major gamers, and that's enough for them. That's enough for
I
them.
mean,
They
And it
stay in
sounds
their
like
lane.
you've got
personally,
them on
hold on, hold on,
I love
hold
the
on,
Mario
hold,
Plain
games.
and
I
simple, they
played
stay in their
Wonder,
lane.
hold on,
Super Mario
hold
Wonder.
on.
I look forward to, if this comes with a brand new 3D Mario game, it'll grab me in just because of my childhood. It's
But
the
you know what? All you
nostalgia and
Portal, all you PlayStation Portal guys. I mean, the Wii U. I think it had an idea. I just think it was ahead, just like Stadia. It was just ahead of its time, man.
It was.
Because
It
I
really
mean,
was.
look, you could.
It was no
It was
different
ahead
than
of its
the Sega
time.
Dreamcast. It was the same as the Sega Dreamcast. The Dreamcast was ahead of its time. The Wii
I
U was
mean,
ahead of its time.
dude, I could look. I could go for like TV and then boom, just hold the Wii
But the
U
thing is,
handheld
but the
and
thing
walk
is
over
with
and
the
play.
well,
Think of
here's
it.
the biggest thing that that's gonna favor the Switch 2 is the fact that this is coming out at a time that handhelds are taking over. Handheld devices are the new fad, and it's going to capitalize on it because of the name. The brand recognition is going to be the key. That's going to give it that ability to sell it like it's probably got, my guess is it'll break the sales records that the Switch broke.
well, that's
I
because
think
it'll
it's going.
be on mainstream news. It'll be like, this is going to be a news story for people to run, and it's going to gain so much traction in advertising. People will see it
Well,
in the
and
stores.
think
It'll
of
be in your
think of
department stores. Nintendo's
think of the
bright
marketing.
red. Yeah,
But here's
they're there.
well, but the gamers that it's catering to are not only they're catering to those gamers that grew up with the Switch. Switch has been around for a long time. So you're already catering to those older gamers, and now you're going to get, a new batch as well as that. In
Well,
that time span. So you're getting the best of both worlds as a Nintendo. If you're in that ecosystem, they're going to be able to capitalize on twice as many gamers
Yeah,
as
well,
they had
Nintendo
before.
are comfortable with their share of the market. That's yeah, it's as simple as
Yeah,
that. They're
well,
comfortable.
considering how much money they made off the Switch, I'd be comfortable in that market too.
Like I said, they stay in their lane. They have no reason to get in anybody else's lane. They just hang
And you
out
know
right
what?
there.
And it's a win. Well, exactly, Houston, and that is a win for them. They don't have to worry about competing with PlayStation. They don't compete with Nintendo, with Xbox
Yeah, I
or
mean,
anybody else.
honestly, that is smart though. I think it's smart for them to not try to step up in graphics because then as soon as they go with hardware, then they do got to compete. And we know how annoying it is with PlayStation and Xbox. Oh, how many teraflops and this and that. I think it's great with Nintendo just, avoid all of that.
Exactly. That's how they've lasted so long in the gaming industry.
I think it's never been about power in the console space. I don't think that's ever been the thing. It's always been about who has the big games. Like just think back.
I won't say that. No, hold on. You might not be old enough, but it started off with 8-bit, and then it was 16-bit, and every year, every generation jumped. So I was playing it back with it before 8 bits, and like you were always the new console. It doubled. That was the thing. It always doubled up to 128 bits. So that was the thing. I remember when Jaguar came out. I was like, it's not true 64 bits because technically it's two 32-bit processors. That was
I'm talking more when gaming got more mainstream, where you had the general user who doesn't know anything about that stuff. You like the SNES, the N64. It was all about like the game brands and like not like just think about think.
I think not to be funny, but I think it was your age because at my age, it was about that for me. Like we talked about that in school and growing up. Like we talked about like it was a big deal when the Jaguar came out when it was 64 bits, but then it was like that slap in the face because technically it's two 32-bit processors. I remember that being like the talk going to GameStop. But for you, you would have been younger, so you wouldn't have been caring about it. You was just playing the game. So
but I think kids run the market. Just look at mobile. Mobile's massive. Look at Fortnite, massive.
No, I'm not saying it would run the market. I'm just saying you're saying that you feel that that wasn't a thing. I'm just telling you it was because I was living it.
Well, I think for some people, like the original Xbox probably interested a lot of like PC people because it was the first internal hard drive on a console. It had like online. There was a lot of like new features that I think the original Xbox did, but Xbox 360 blew it out of the like water in terms of sales. But it also had Call of Duty marketing through that, and like Halo and stuff like that. So I think games make a huge matter. Like
all this stuff you're saying, you read in a magazine, and I lived it.
Because the Xbox 360 sold over 3 times as much as the original Xbox.
Cowboy,
I bought an Xbox 360. I'm the same age as Baker.
You got that for a Christmas gift from your parents. It's different.
What are you talking about? I graduated.
I remember
I took the money that I got from getting perfect math marks in high school. They gave me a bursary leaving school, and it was a check. And I bought an Xbox 360 with that math money.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing as your parents giving you the money.
With permission from your parents.
I earned
correct?
that. I earned that.
Correct.
Is that what you had to tell them? You were like, but Mom, I earned it. Mom.
Yeah,
she did not care. She had the triplets at that point.
Yeah, I was just saying to Maker's point when he was saying that something wasn't a thing. I was just saying no, it was, but I think maybe it was to him because of just the age. Like if Ray, I'm sure Ray remember, dude, we were talking about 8-bit and then the jump, and that was a thing.
Bro, when I saw the Super Nintendo, I just went.
Yep, 16 bits. It was like what 16? They just doubled the sprites.
Double the sprites, baby.
Double the sprites. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You guys are old.
Here we are.
So, and I mean, that's the thing with this Nintendo is they're not really making that kind of monumental jump, are they? Here?
Right.
They're just kind of, giving you faster processing, some ray tracing, and some AI. I hope the games are able to make that kind of jump. I hope Odyssey really hits different because, to be honest, I feel like the last Mario Odyssey is probably going to feel like the newest one. I mean, there hasn't been too much change in games.
Now, here's the biggest question. Y'all ready? Will Grand Theft Auto 6 be on the Switch too?
No.
Yes.
Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't even coming out this year, man. It might be on the Switch too.
Do y'all think it will be?
We will know. We will know February 6th whether or not it is being delayed or coming out this year. Just a heads up to anybody out there.
No,
Why
it's
is it?
win an
Why?
award for most
happening February
anticipated
6th?
game this year.
February 6th is Rockstar's earnings call, and so they have to share with their plans with their investors and their shareholders, and
That's
the time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, like, now that the Switch 2 is official, other companies, third-party companies, can now legally announce their version of, Switch 2 version. They
Hey,
can just
listen.
announce it now.
Unless
There
you're like
you go.
Ubisoft and get their earning calls messed up, like 2 years in a row, they said For Honor was coming to Stadia in the earnings call and it was a mistake. So I'm just saying.
Stadia.
Yeah, Ubisoft is dog shit.
Never really know.
I could definitely see Death Stranding on the Switch 2. I think it'll have the exact same support as any other console now. I think the Switch was left behind. We saw Mortal Kombat 1 and the literal like dog trash that it looked like on it, and I don't think that'll be a barrier for it anymore. It'll have all its first parties and support third. I'm just worried about releasing enough exclusives on launch. Like, you need at least 5, right? How many exclusives should Switch 2 launch with?
Yeah,
it
I
depends.
don't, bro. Do not worry
Yeah,
about
look,
poor
look.
little Nintendo. Do
No,
not
no, no.
worry about.
Don't
poor
worry
little-
about
like, come on.
Nintendo, but don't worry about Nintendo, but he's got a point. How many of these games that are going to be, oh man, it's coming out on the Switch too, but is also backwards compatible with the original Switch? Or, like, are they actual Switch 2 games?
Bro, they'll be fine. Honestly, I don't think it's a concern. I don't think it's a concern. You
Well,
make a good
yeah.
point, but also I don't think it's a worry.
But
I don't
I
think it's a
want
worry.
more new games.
It's
Well,
going to
like,
be
I
just
don't
as
think
big
they
of
could
a
be
worry
working.
and
I don't-
the lack of
Okay,
power between the S and the X.
I have a question for you
That's
guys.
the only worry you're really going to have.
Do you think Nintendo could be working on some big secret Mario game or some big secret Zelda game and nobody's heard nothing about it?
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely for
Bro,
Mario.
Easily.
they're Nintendo. They've got IP other than those two that you guys
Mario?
all remember when you.
No, but when you
Splatoon,
launch their console,
Metroid.
it always comes with them.
Bro,
Usually.
ain't nobody
yes.
buying the Switch 2 for a Pikmin 5, man.
No, Pikmin recently came out, but maybe we'll see a Splatoon. We could see
No.
Bro,
Metroid.
they're gonna
We could
drop-
see
No, they're going to
Can I
drop
just say,
Donkey
Animal Crossing
Pokemon, some other color of the
Donkey Kong
rainbow.
would be a
with
good
left
shout for a
field.
new game.
You guys forget Smash Bros. Do you guys know how big Nintendo
Smash
Smash
Bros.
Brothers
Oh,
was?
we didn't
Come on.
forget you like
Come on.
Smash Bros.
The thing is,
Ray, Smash Bros is what we
Nintendo-
do in private. What are you talking about?
Nintendo
Very like
have
the Smash
a
Yeah,
Bros.
plethora
Five Guys.
of IP. They have a
You guys are
plethora
stupid.
of IP to choose from that even we might not think of off the top of our minds. Animal Crossing, when that became the hype in 2020, was out the middle of nowhere from an old game in like 2011 on the DS that wasn't even huge. It was just one of their mid successes of the DS. Like, they've got so many IPs that they could just bring out, and we could all of a sudden hype out the middle of nowhere. Who
I
knows?
play-
Who
Dude,
honestly
I
knows?
More than
played
anything.
Hitman. I played Hitman, and I played what you call, what was the game by Remedy with the chick? I played that on my Switch, and it
Here,
and
I've got an IP that would hype up the Switch too, and that is
Let's
Star
hear it.
Fox. We haven't heard from
Star
Star
Fox,
Fox at
yes.
all. That would
That'd
be
be
a
good.
what the
big.
hell? Dude, Star Fox got fired. You didn't hear about that? He got fired, dude.
What? Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
fire.
think
Hey,
Star
you know what's
Fox
cool
was.
though?
Oh.
You know what's cool? Animal Crossing actually in 2020 was nominated for Game of the Year. A lot of people don't realize that.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no, that one blew everyone out the water, out the middle of nowhere. Like, it had another one. It had not just another one. I think Animal Crossing is one of their IPs they constantly revive. But the one in 2020, like, all of their previous Animal Crossings did nothing compared to the one in 2020. That one came out the middle of nowhere, but it was an IP
was the
they already had
pandemic.
established,
It was-
and they blew us away. Regardless of the pandemic, I'm just saying they have got a plethora of IPs that maybe it's not their Marios, maybe it's not Donkey Kongs, but they'll have something that all of you guys will remember and that all the kids will play as soon as this thing comes out. And maybe it won't be something that's on the tip of our tongues, but they'll have something. They'll have something lined up. It's not, seriously, it's not a concern, I don't think.
David, I heard you were good. David, I heard you were good at digging turnips.
You
Yeah.
say that, but like, there's a ton of like Switch exclusive games that sell ridiculous.
Bro, they've got options that we don't have to worry about. Frankly, they've got
But
options.
when are they gonna cut? When are they gonna cut Switch loose? Are all these games gonna be backwards compatible when they release, or are they gonna cut Switch to like the original Switch this year?
No, I think they're gonna do the same thing PlayStation does with PlayStation 4. They're just gonna milk both.
I think they're gonna do similar to what they did with the Wii U to Switch era. Like the first initial games are gonna be released on both, and then you know, eventually make them exclusive. Because there's going to be games in the pipeline that are designed for the Switch to like exclusive wise. Third party you might have a little bit more support over time.
Right, but
And if
what?
you've
But my
optimized it enough,
thing
it'll
is,
run on the Switch One as well. But Switch Two will just at that point actually have a big performance leap. You know, it'll look better, it'll run better. They'll actually be able to argue that point for their first handful of games.
do you think they have those games ready? Any Switch 2 actual games ready? That
100%. If not,
Mario,
then
Mario
they'll
Kart
have them.
probably. Mario
If they
Kart.
don't right now, they will.
Well, if it's not Mario Kart, it's no. They already announced Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime 4 is probably going to be going on both, like Switch and Switch 2, since they announced it before
Oh,
Switch
well,
2.
damn.
And then since they're announcing Mario Kart with the Switch, it's probably going to be like exclusive to the Switch 2.
Just give
Is
me a
it gonna still
Mario.
hook
Just
up
give
to
me
the
a
TV?
Mario
Make 'em real.
RPG and take my money.
Yeah, it's still got its dock station to hook to the TV.
Oh yeah,
They have
did show it.
Mario RPG.
Yeah,
That's
but I
on
mean a good one.
Oh yeah.
But
And then I'm sure
Well,
you'll
I
probably
mean, we
get
could see
Switch 2 Lite
Kirby.
that doesn't connect to TV.
They have Kid Icarus. They have Pokemon, which is going to be coming out. I'm sure Ubisoft will be jumping to put their stuff on there. It'll have a bunch of support, but time will tell. Plus, I'm sure they'll do something with their Miis, right? They always do something with their Mii Sports and
Oh,
stuff.
their Mii's. Is that still a thing? Do they still do Mii's? I haven't seen them since Wii,
Yeah.
but I've not been a Nintendo guy for a while.
Yeah, they still do music. You can still create your own.
Yeah,
Cool.
I got a cool me.
I feel like
Heck,
we've
I can't-
talked the hell out of Switch 2 though. For the one
Yeah.
trailer that we got that literally
Yeah.
just showed us some things, I feel like we've talked the hell out of it because that's all we got. We got like a minute of a trailer, but people get hyped. People get hyped. I'm sure we're not the only people tonight who are talking about it ad nauseum.
You bring it up. People get hyped, and you know the one thing I never see Mario do? Any goddamn plumbing. All right? He's always off doing other stuff. When is he ever plumbing? Is he even a licensed plumber anymore?
When he's going
He's
going
not even
in and out of the
licensed.
pipe, he's cleaning them with
He's
his
not
belly.
even Italian,
His
bro.
debut, he showed you all the pipe. His debut, he gave you all the pipe.
Listen, he's not licensed anymore, but he's laid a hell of a lot of pipe.
Hey, look, he's just an American from Brooklyn. He doesn't have to do any work. He's got people that do that stuff for him.
They can't
All
keep
right,
his
well-
woman safe from a snapping turtle.
Let's end this out with going through the panel and seeing who's gonna buy a Switch. Cowboy, are you gonna buy a
No.
Switch? No,
Definitely not.
definitely not. Anthony, guess what? By the way, just a little off note. I got the in-zone monitor, hooked it up to my PS5. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Oh my God.
Oh, bro! Hit the horse
Oh,
button.
it's so good.
Let's go.
Somebody-
Now you know what's crazy?
Somebody hit the
I just-
horse
I just
button.
bought-
please.
I just bought a PS5 Pro like a week ago.
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah,
Wow.
but I didn't hook it
Damn.
up yet.
Oh,
just didn't hook it up
I would have been day one hooking that thing up. After other things I did once I got it, and
But I will say this
yeah.
though.
For other things. Other things.
Yeah, are you buying it?
Jem, are you buying it?
I already pre-ordered, man. What you guys talking
You already
about?
pre-ordered? Yes. You
Whoa.
pre-ordered the pre-order, dude. Where can I
Yeah.
do that in Canada?
Oh, I found out in the US, Best Buy does it. I didn't check. I just
Ooh.
read it online. So check out
Best
Best
Buy.
Buy.
I'm gonna go to Best Buy after this. All right, Houston, are you gonna buy it?
I doubt it.
I doubt it. All right, Maker.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I unless there is a new game that I can't play on the regular Switch, that appeals to me. Like Mario Kart doesn't. Maybe a 3D Mario, maybe. It depends on how cool it looks. But if it was a 3D Zelda, I would be buying it like day one. But unfortunately, that's not in the cards.
But if there's a 3D Mario, yes or no?
Maybe. Like if they're announcing like a 3D Mario releasing later this year, then yeah, I'd debate about getting it, depending on the price.
Okay. And what if they did something like a Chrono Trigger? What is?
Oh man, that would be day one. Like if they remake.
No, I'm not thinking Chrono Trigger. Xenoblade. That's the one they do.
No. I picked that one up on buy one get one free. That's
okay.
A wait and buy.
Well, what about a Nier 2 on Switch?
I would get it day one.
Mr. Pwned Gaming.
Yeah,
What are
man.
your thoughts?
Definitely not day one, and I'm with Maker. I need to see something that actually would move me, but Nintendo has a bunch of my favorite IPs that I haven't played in a long time because I refused to buy the Switch. So I don't know, man. Maybe, but definitely not day one, man. I need to see some Metroid that I can't get anywhere else, or like he was saying, a really cool, more realistic Zelda. But we'll see.
And know what'd be cool? It's with that mouse function. They release a brand new Mario Paint. Reaver, are you going to buy a Switch 2 on day one?
Sadly, no, because I don't even have the funds for it right now. But eventually, I will. But it'd be even better if they actually, like Maker said, if they actually had a 3D Mario game on it, I would definitely buy it.
And there you go. For me, it's definitely very enticing. I have a lot of fond memories of the Nintendo system, playing the Nintendo 64, getting all 120 stars, finding Yoshi on the roof, and growing up. One of my first memories growing up was literally Super Mario World, and my mom playing that with me on her lap. So I got a lot of love for Nintendo.
Hell yeah!
But
Damn,
Ray,
I had kids when that happened.
Yo.
I know we've had that talk.
My main reason for not jumping on it on day one is because of the funds I've already put into my current build, and then the fact, going to knock somebody out to try and get a hold of a 5080. So my funds are going in one direction, not the other.
Good luck with the 5080.
I would love to know.
Hey, if I'm lucky enough at gunpoint, I might be able to get me a 5090 free. Not that I'm that kind of person, but person in the right parking lot at the wrong time for him. I could get me one for free if I was that kind of guy.
We're gonna advocate peace. We're gonna advocate peace here. Ray, you getting one for Evan?
Yeah, but you know what? I would love to know what the trade. I would love to know what is the trade-in on my Switch 1. What's the trade-in?
Oh, dude, be? I went to go see what my trade-in was for my PS5.
Store credit.
300 Canadian dollars for a trade-in for a
Really?
PS5. Like, are you kidding me? That's not that much.
Wow.
It should be like 200.
But yeah, me and Nicole had already. I had told her that, hey babe, Switch 2 is gonna be coming out. Is that something you want to get Evan for his birthday? So that's what we're planning on doing. But I'm gonna take it from him and play it. So yeah.
Mr. Vet, will you be buying the Switch 2?
Yeah, I already have it pre-ordered.
Nice.
Yes, I will. Yeah.
Are you sure of that?
Unlike, not real gamers. I'm not naming names. I
Wilson.
support all gaming.
Wilson,
Damn.
will you be getting it?
Probably would. probably won't. I'm like a 20%, 80%. You know what I mean? Like I'm kind of on the fence, but I'm probably not gonna. But I don't know. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see how much hype it gets. I'm gonna see what people are saying about it. See if any more specs come out before it drops. And if it does sound interesting, if it's another thing, if it sounds super hyped, I might just pick one up for the sake of the hype. And if I don't love it, then shit, I'll sell it for 500 or whatever. Like a little bit extra.
He's gonna scalp him.
Dude, just ask your dude. Just ask David. Just ask your sugar daddy to get it for you.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Well, we will end on that note. Thank you for coming, hanging out, and talking the download. We'll be back next week with more gaming and tech news. Thank you for everybody on the panel for coming out and talking this afternoon. And let's go switch to Nintendo. You made us talk for an hour based off of what? 2 minutes and 21 seconds. So kudos
We
to
didn't
you.
even talk about the Nvidia Ace.
I know. I didn't get to Nvidia Ace like I wanted to, but I gotta go meet my contractors. So I'm out of here. See you guys.
All right.
Peace.
Later.
Grove. 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 Why try to believe in me? Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as